first of all, let's go to chapter 1. And this is the first time we mention method. This is extremely important concept, method. Everything we are writing a method. A method, okay? So inside a class, and we are writing several methods. The first one we are writing is main. So what is a method? How do we know this is a method? Now, for right now, we write a static method. So we'll write public static void. Then we give a name, right? So the name can be main, and the name can be print. The name can be like a print warning, okay? And then followed by the parentheses. And then we have the beginning of the method and end of the method. You guys just saw from Giovanni's struggle was that he probably didn't closing the method. Okay, so this is extremely important. You always try to find if there is a match, the beginning of the method and end of the method. Make sure that after the P public here, you can see your closing of the method. Okay, and then we put the statement inside. So this is an example called print warnings, right? So public static void. The name of the method is called public warnings. We follow by the parentheses and then beginning of the method here and end of the method here. Every statement, make sure that we indent. We put the statement inside, so make sure there's an indent. So we can clearly see that this whole thing, it's a one method. All right, so this is an important concept again. Method, method, method. Now, right now you can see inside the parentheses, we have nothing, right? We have nothing. We just have a parenthesis here. So in chapter 1, we learn how to create a method, And also in chapter 1, we learn how to call a method. So how to call a method is we just give the name of the method followed by the parentheses and then semicolon, right? And so what's the structure of the static method? Look this one here. Look this example here. And this outside is a class, right? The class is called fresh prints, okay? So again, beginning of the class and end of the class. And everything, make sure you put them indented inside. Then in this class, we have two methods. One, it's called main. Another, it's called rep. Okay? And so you cannot put a method inside a method. So the method has to be another method. One method has to be end. So like the main method, they end here. Okay? And then you can start writing another method and then end. So you cannot put a method inside a method. So in this class, we created two methods. Again, one method is main. Another method is called wrap. All right. After we create the method wrap, and then inside the main, we can use the method. This is called calling or running the method. How we do it? Just give the name of the method followed by the parentheses and semicolon. again, we notice that the way that in chapter 1, we didn't have anything inside the parentheses. But if you look at the main method here, inside the parentheses, we do have what we call parameters. Okay? And so this is actually quite complicated parameters. That means we have array of string and then the name of the parameter. So in chapter 1, we did learn the method, static method, how to create them. So this is the way about how to, we are not using the, regular English word creating. We call declaring a method. And also how can we calling a method. And this example here shows you how can you create two methods and calling one method from another method. So that's chapter 1. Now, going inside the chapter 3. Chapter 3, and we emphasize that again and again, it's all about parameters. Parameters, parameters, parameters. So, how can we declaring a parameter? Is that this is one parameter, it's a pair. So we give a type and we give a name of the parameter. Okay, so now inside the parentheses, we can have a list of parameters, right? So for example, we can have int and code. If I'm going back to the questions Leonardo asked me, going back there, okay, is that, so here, print numbers, int, so he was asking the question, right? And I'm confused what the int max means. So what this means, again, if you look the whole sentence here, is we are creating or we are declaring a method. So we're using public, static, void, and the name of the method called print number, and inside the parentheses, we have one parameter, which is an integer. So the parameter name is a max, and the parameter type is int. Okay, so go back to the chapter 3. It's called declaring a parameter. Okay, so when we create a method, it's not just simply a parenthesis, right? And we can have the pair name, pair name, pair name. We can have as many as pair, type name as we want to, and we can separate them by comma. So this again is creating a parameterized method. So here is an example. Here is an example. So this is a parameter. After we declare the parameter, and then we can use them in the code. We can use them in the code. We can use in the program. And now, how can you passing a parameter is that in the main. So in the main here, for example, right? And we ask you for an integer. So this is the code you pass to me, okay? So the code is an integer, so you give me 42, and 42 is an integer, so this parameter is passed to the method. So when you call the method, you cannot give a name and parentheses. You have to give me a value of that parameter. So you have to passing a parameter value to me so the method can run. Okay? And here is further explanation here. to say, again, this is a method. The method is takes an integer parameter called times. So, and we're using the times to do the loops. Okay, this is how many times we're going to loop. And then inside the main method, and we will pass in number 3 because you asked for an integer. So we'll pass in number 3. So when I give you the number 3, and the times will have the value 3, and therefore this will repeat 3 times. So this is a kind of like the chart to shows you how a parameter is passed. Okay, and we can pass number 3 to here. We can pass number 7 to here. So you can pass any of the value as long as the type matches what the method is asking for. And that's why the method is still useful. They can print 3 times or they can print 7 times.